morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to our Sunday morning service on this beautiful June, June 13th. My goodness, I'm getting ahead of myself. And I feel like most of the time I'm still stuck back in like March or April, but this morning I just jumped right ahead to July. So welcome everybody. We're so grateful and glad that you're here joining us. And just to let you know, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living is located in Falls Church, Virginia. However, we are truly a global community now. So one of the positive things that came out of this pandemic was that we are online. And so you can be joining us from anywhere. And even once we return to in-person services, we are still going to be live streaming our services so that you can still join us from wherever you are at. We are so excited this morning. We have a guest musician, Cerise Patron, and she is actually zooming in from Phoenix, Arizona, which I'm just so grateful for technology and for our ability to connect with one another. It's absolutely wonderful. And on that note, I have big news. Are y'all ready? Like drum roll at home. Are y'all ready? Our first return to in-person service is going to be on July 4th. So just 3 weeks away. Woohoo! Ivor and I have been working and planning. Ivor and I and the practitioners and the leadership council and other people, there have been so many of us planning and working together on getting us ready to return to in-person services. And it's so interesting. I've been calling it a reopening, and I've heard that term a lot. And then Reverend Bob Dean, Dr. Bob, who is the minister down in Atlanta, he said, we're not reopening. We've been open this whole time. And so that really hit for me. So we are not calling it a reopening. We are simply returning to in-person services. And we are going to have an extra special theme for that day, our return to in-person services. The theme is Rising as Love, because we are truly rising up out of this. I kind of feel like y'all take this or leave this depending on how much you like bugs, but I feel like we're kind of like the cicadas. We are emerging, we are re-emerging out into the world in this way and showing up in kind of a new and different way than we ever have before. So we are rising as love, and we are doing that together. A couple of little things, keep an eye out, because we're going to be sending you an email with all of the information that you need to know about what our return to in-person services is going to look like. Everything's going to shift around. Our in-person services are going to look a little bit different. Our online services are going to look a little bit different. We're no longer going to be live streaming to Zoom. We're going to live stream directly to Facebook and to YouTube. And then we'll be doing Zoom discussions afterwards. In addition, we are going to be requiring masks in the sanctuary at all times for everyone. And we are not going to be serving any food or drink, just because we want to make sure that everybody can stay safe and protected in whatever way feels good for them. And another thing that's kind of different, and maybe take a little bit of getting used to. I know it would have in my, it has in my previous communities. I don't know this community as well in person because, I got here in January. But I feel like in spiritual centers and in churches, we're used to hugging and being very close and touchy and sweet and gentle with one another. And we get to show up differently as we greet one another and we return to being together. And so we are going to ask that instead of assuming hugs are the way to greet, that we ask one another, would you like a hug, or are you open to a hug? And assuming that people don't want to be touched unless otherwise stated, and have it be an actual conversation rather than just assuming. So that's going to be something a little bit different. I know it'll take a little bit of getting used to. It's something that we have done in Next Gen for years, that you always ask before hugging. So I have a lot of practice with it, and I will support, and we'll have languaging around that so that we can all be in agreement about the way that our return to in-person services works. So keep an eye on your email. We'll also be talking about it more as we get closer. We're so excited to be coming back together, and I'm so excited to be seeing all of y'all regularly. And for some of y'all, I'm so excited to be meeting you for the first time in person, live in 3D. So it's going to be a really joyous celebration and occasion. And with that, I know that was a ton of information. You'll get emails, don't worry. I would like to welcome, oh no, I would like us to say our vision together, this is the perfect timing as we're listening to all of these things that are going to be different. We remember that our vision is where we are all headed together. So please stay muted and say together aloud with me our vision. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. And we are doing that here online, and we are going to be doing it as we return to in person. And so with that, I would like to invite Lynn Hollyfield to open us in song.
All right, thank you. I put the words in the chat box. This is a song by Susie Vinnick and David Leask called Lean into the Light. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. Good morning, breaking dawn. That night it felt so long. Time to make a choice and change that old song. It's an opportunity, take responsibility to make a better place for all beings. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. We've been planting seeds, found beauty in the weeds. Every time that we go deeper in the woods, in the lovely moss, we are never lost. We'll find the hidden gems along the pathway. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. Yeah, lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. In the darkest time, there's a bigger light, an endless flame to get us through the night. In the darkest hour, there's a calming voice that silences the noise if we just listen. Lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. Yeah, lean into the light. The light's gonna help us find our way. The light's gonna help us find our way. The light's gonna help us find our way.
Thank you so much, Lynn. What a perfect opening. We are leaning into the light. And now I would like to invite our licensed practitioner, Suzanne Delahaye. Suzanne, you are muted.
Thank you so much, Lynn. That was beautiful. And what is a practitioner? A practitioner is one who prays. Since we all pray at different times and in different manners, we can all be considered practitioners. However, we in Science of Mind and Centers for Spiritual Living have a definite process where we go through, we have all the training, 3 full years of training, and it's rigorous. It takes 2 tests an oral and a written first, and then you go to your oral, and then you consider yourself a practitioner of religious science. And you can put the label RSCP under your name. Yay! And it indicates a real difference in a real manifestation of your consciousness. So, that said, I have a wonderful reading. One is from an unknown monk who is apparently around 1100 AD or current era, and another from Ernest Holmes. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, and as an older man, I prayed to change my family. Suddenly I realized that now, as an old man, I realized the only thing I can change is myself. And I realized that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on our town. Their impact could have changed the nation. And I could indeed have changed the world. Now I have another reading from 10 Ideas That Make a Difference. Miracles are natural. Every manifestation of faith through prayer, every wonder and sign which has followed the devotional life has been an inevitable result of some hidden cause set in motion by the life principle. Every longing and yearning we have ever had, every secret desire of our soul, and every constructive ambition we have had is but a whispering of the power, assuring us that we are one with it, that we are a manifestation of or personification of it, and that we are a center in it. And now we pray. As I know that there's only one power, one presence, one mind. And as we know, there is only one. I know, and we all know, that we must be part of that one. We are a manifestation of that one. We are purposefully made to be perfect, whole, and complete in this oneness. And knowing that I am one with this power, one with this presence, I know that all is well. All is well. All manner of things are well. And that within this perfect experience of God, I know that within us there is a power, there is a place of peace and harmony and joy and wonder and all the things that we are, all the things that we have, all that we experience, the states of consciousness that we have available to us. Joy, peace, harmony, love, beauty, and our experience of beauty. Our ability to experience and wonder at this awesome planet, this awesome universe that we are within. And I give a minute of pure love and experience this now. And having for a moment experienced this one, this precious one, this amazing one. We give thanks for our experiences. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And now I release my word unto the law, knowing that it is done and done in perfect experience, perfect expression of the one. And as I say, and so it is.
So
it is. Okay, I'd like to welcome our special musician today, Cerise Patron. She's a singer-songwriter and motivational speaker, and she's joining us from Phoenix, Arizona. She leads, her bio is so interesting, so I'm gonna share that with you. She leads sacred meditative tours to Machu Picchu, the Amazon, and Lima, Peru. She has 3 full-length CDs, and she's out there trying to inspire others to live their dreams and be love in the world. She's also a ministerial school, she's also attending ministerial school at Emerson Theological Institute. So please welcome Cerise Patron.
Thank you so much. This first song I'm going to sing is one I wrote about 20 years ago, but it still matters today. It's called Once You Say Yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. When it seems like you're struggling just to make it through, there's not enough time in the day to do what you've gotta do. Remember that God is just a prayer away from making your dreams come true. But you don't get nothing, no you don't, until you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. I know you've been trying to find the way to go, and all of your life you've tried to find your pot of gold. Remember that you get what you're putting out, you reap what you have sown, so you can quit trying Yes, you can. And just say yes. Yes, yes. Won't you say yes? Yes, yes. Won't you say yes? Yes, yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. It seems like you're searching just to find your way. You can't seem to keep your mind away from yesterday. Remember that no one ever made a life without living for today. So keep on keeping on and just say yes, yes, yes. Won't you say yes, yes, yes? Won't you say yes, yes, yes? Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yeah, yeah. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes, yes, yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yes. Once you say yes, God does the rest. Once you say yeah.
Thank you so much, Cerise. I love that song. I'm like, yes. It makes me want to run out and say yes and see how God shows up. And that has definitely been my experience. So thank you for that song. That was beautiful. I'm also really impressed because Cerise apparently has like children in other places in her house, and like she's here with us. So I'm very grateful for you being here today. And it's awesome to hear that you're in ministerial school. I love that. So I changed the topic today on like Wednesday of this past week because what kept coming up for me, I just shortened it a little bit. The global theme for this week is lean into the discomfort. And what kept coming up to me is just this idea of leaning in general, like whether it's uncomfortable or not, but just this idea of leaning in. And so I shortened it, and my topic today is just lean in. And as I say often, these topics work me like all week long, right? And so I've been looking at this idea of lean in and what does that mean and how does it show up in my life? And boy, did it show up all over the place this week for me. And just, the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about this idea of leaning in is like, when do I lean in? When is it important to me to kind of get closer to a person or a situation or a thing that is happening? And it's when I'm curious, right? It's when I'm really interested, or when I'm really committed to focusing on what's happening. And when that happens, I tend to just kind of lean in. Maybe I turn so that my ears facing them so I can hear them a little bit better. And I get curious. And the first thing that came to my mind as I was thinking about when do I get curious, when do I lean in, is a story that our beloved Andy Murphy actually told me back in November when I was candidating, which was like a whole weekend of leaning into y'all's community and getting to meet everybody on Zoom and some in person. We were doing, you remember back in November when we were doing the like socially distanced outdoor meetings, and I was meeting all of y'all in groups of like 1 to 3, and I was going around to people's houses and all of this stuff. And it was just this whole weekend of y'all leaning into me and getting curious about me, and then me leaning into y'all. But one of the houses that I stopped by was Andy and Terry Murphy's house. And I was sitting on the front porch with Andy, and he told me this really beautiful story about how he sits on his front porch, and they have, if you haven't been to their house, it's gorgeous. They have these beautiful giant hydrangea vines. I didn't even know hydrangeas grew the way that they do at their house. And he was talking about watching the flowers and watching the bugs on the flowers and leaning into that experience of what would the consciousness of this insect be? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What is it like to crawl on these vines? And he was telling me the story, and it was so profound. From like, I think about that all the time. And when I see the cicadas, I'm like, I wonder what your little cicada life is like. And I lean into the curiosity of what is the consciousness of the life that is going on all around me all the time? What is the consciousness of the trees and the flowers and the insects and the birds and the snakes? I've seen a lot of snakes this summer, which is really, I love snakes, so I think that's really cool. Some people might not think that's cool, but you know, just all of this wildlife, even the water. What is the consciousness of the water? And I think about that. And I lean into that idea, and I lean into that experience. I get curious. And when I think about, you know, getting curious, these are things that I want to get curious about, right? Like, it's really easy to get curious about the beautiful flowers and the wildlife. And even it's really easy to get curious about y'all and this community. Like back in November when I was here, it was so easy to just dive right in and get to know y'all. And, you know, I sat around the fire with the leadership council at Harrison's house, and I met up with the practitioners outside of the center in the fields back there. And, you know, just all of these experiences, people came by to see me and to meet me. And it was so easy to lean into that experience, to dive in, because this community is so amazing, right? Like, we give each other a gentleness and a grace as we lean in and we get curious. We assume the best intent with one another for the most part. And so when I think about that, I think, how can I lean into other areas where maybe that wouldn't be my go-to? That's not my first inclination, is not to lean into this experience, but instead it's, I'd like to shy away from that. That's uncomfortable for some reason. And it could be that it's uncomfortable because it's unknown. It could be it's uncomfortable because it's painful. It could be it's uncomfortable because I feel unsafe or I feel vulnerable. There's lots of reasons. But I think about, when my natural inclination is to step back or to shy away from something, instead, can I lean in? Can I get just a little bit closer and a little bit curious and a little bit interested in what this experience, what the situation has to offer me? Ernest Holmes says, one of the greatest stumbling blocks in any person's spiritual advancement is dishonesty, the refusal to honestly face an idea if that idea happens not to please them. The refusal to honestly face an idea if that idea happens to not please them. He goes on to say, this comes in part from the human tendency to take the line of least resistance, whether it be in our physical endeavors or in the operation of our minds. Confront it with an idea that repudiates one we have held for years. We go far out of our way, entirely around the idea, to keep from being compelled to analyze and possibly to absorb it. Our cry is, I do not like to believe that. And we do that, don't we? When we're faced with an idea or a situation or a challenge, our natural inclination is to go the path of least resistance. Our natural inclination is to say, well, I don't believe that, so it can't be true, regardless of whether it is or not. And our natural inclination is to turn away from any situation that makes us uncomfortable. But that's okay, because we talked about it many times. We can go against those natural inclinations, the same ones that tell us we have to run away from anything different because it might eat us. The situation isn't going to eat us. We can lean in, we can step closer, and we can get curious. Because when we are able to honestly face an idea, regardless of whether that idea pleases us or not, that is that cutting edge of our growth. That is where we can show up for ourselves and for one another in a new way. And that, there can be some fear there, and that's fine. We all get afraid. It's about stepping beyond the fear and not allowing it to overcome us. But we can also shift those feelings that we're having that feel like fear. We can shift our perception of them, and we can get excited. The physiological symptoms of fear are the same as the physiological symptoms of excitement. So when I get afraid, I get, butterflies in my stomach, I might sweat a little bit, I get nervous, I get kind of jittery. Those are the same things that happen when I get excited. I get butterflies in my stomach and I get jittery and I start sweating a little bit, but I'm excited. And it's up to us how we perceive those emotions. And so when something is showing up and asking us to honestly face it, we can lean in. We can get a little bit closer. We can say, what do you have for me? What is calling to me in this moment? What is asking me to go higher, to rise above? What is it? So I said that this idea of leaning in has shown up in my life in several ways this week. Yesterday, we had our Zentangle workshop, and some of us were here in person and some of us were on Zoom, and Alan Vukas joined us from Rhode Island, and he taught us this method of meditation is really what it is. And it was so much fun. I don't really consider myself to be an artist, but I have a lot of art supplies, and I do a lot of art. I keep an art journal, and when I write journal, it often comes with artwork, and I have all kinds of things. I have several hundred markers of different styles and colors, and stickers and washi tape and all papers and just all kinds of really cool art supplies that I use pretty often. And what I noticed yesterday in Zentangling, and I like to be perfect. I really like to be perfect. And art, those two things don't go together. Being perfect and doing art, like those we want them to go together, but they don't really. And anybody who's done any sort of art will know that. And so as we're learning this new method that is really a meditation, but it also feels artistic in this way, I found myself wanting to be perfect. And that idea of perfection was a list of criteria that I made up in my head. Nobody told me those were the criteria for doing this new thing that I'd never done before. Nobody said like, okay, your spirals need to be perfect and your dots have to be exactly a 1/4 inch from the edge of the paper, and your lines have to be straight. And in fact, Rev Allen kept saying, it doesn't need to be perfect. Don't worry about it. It'll all come together. And I find that this happens when I art journal a lot too, is that when I'm in the process of the creation, it's not pretty. I don't like it. It's not turning out well. And it used to be back in the day that if that happened, I would trash the whole thing and start over. But now I've learned to stay in the process, to lean into the process and to trust the process. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes when I get to the other side, I really love what I've created. And that was true yesterday in Zentangling, so I brought it for y'all to look at. So this is what I created, and we all created one, and they all look different. Let me see, there we go. I created this little Zentangle, and it was very fun, and it is not perfect. And I really liked my end result. And I was talking to somebody else who was in that class as well, and they said, I really liked my end result too. And that's unusual because I'm a perfectionist. I was like, I know, right? It's so cool. And that happens in my art journal. I brought my art journal as well. I'm not going to flip through it for y'all. It's generally in my office or at my house. You can ask me when we're back together in person if you want to see it. I'm happy to show you some of my art. But this idea of leaning in, even when it's messy, even when the process is uncomfortable, even when I look at it and I go like, ew, that's not what I was trying. That's not what I was going for at all. I don't know how we got here, but this isn't what I was going for. But if we stay in the process to the other side, all of a sudden something amazing happens. Krishnamurti says, the ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. It took me a couple times reading this, so I'm going to read it again. The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. And I feel like when we can do that with ourselves, with our own art and our own creations, whatever those art and creations are, whether it's Zentangle or art journals or actual art or music or our work, even if our work is filing or working on a computer, whatever we're creating, whatever we're outputting, are we able to observe that without evaluating it, without judging it? Another area that I got to really lean into was Pride. Yesterday was also Pride. It was a big day yesterday. Yesterday was also Pride in DC. It was initially canceled and then they decided to go ahead and celebrate it. So it was kind of like all over the place and nobody knew what was going on and there wasn't the big parade and there wasn't the big festival, but people came out and like just set booths up on the side of the road in random places and there were people everywhere. So I rode the metro into downtown. I met up with some friends. And one of the things that I really, really love about being a part of the queer community is queer culture. The way that people dress and the way that people behave, and there's lots of queer coding and ways of showing up. Queer coding is like little kind of nods at being queer that you wouldn't know if you were outside of the community kind of thing, right? And all of this little stuff. And so walking through downtown DC and going to several locations and being in DuPont Circle with all of these other people, it's so much fun because we all pull out our best, right? Like we all put on our favorite outfit with like our most colorful shirt and all of our like queer attire and rainbows and everything. Like we all have that one outfit that is like our gay outfit, right? And that's what everybody wears to Pride. And it's so special. Like I love it so much. And it makes me lean in. It makes me want to get to know these people. And it makes me want to like listen to their stories because they're so, you know, we're all part of the same community, but we're also so radically different from one another. And the way that we show up is so radically different. And yet we're all a part of the same community. And I feel like that's kind of us here in Celebration Center also, right? Like we all have this spiritual philosophy. We're all working together to grow and to be better humans and to deepen our own spirituality and to become closer in this community. And yet we're all really radically different from one another. And so we get to lean in. And when somebody does something that makes us uncomfortable or makes us angry or upsets us or whatever it may be, instead of shying away or instead of judging, we get to observe. We get to observe not only what's happening with them and what's happening in the interaction, but we get to observe ourselves. What's going on in me? Why does this upset me? Why do I care so much about this thing that might not even have anything to do with me? And when I can lean into that experience, when I can lean into that, that uncomfortable place, And when I can open up to the vulnerability and to the feeling of being unsafe a little bit, that is where the magic of the growth of our community happens. Ernest Holmes says, love overlooks the little differences that we have and finds a point of reconciliation with others. Love creates tolerance and human understanding, without which we become really divided against ourselves and without which we almost unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. No one can be happy or enjoy the greatest fulfillment in life until they have come to see that most people are trying to do the best that they can. And when we are able to reach out beyond the indifference and the coldness of life, reach through all of the intolerance and unkindness, only then do we meet the divine center, which is forever established within every person. And that is what we are doing here at Celebration Center in this beloved community. We are meeting one another at the divine center, which is forever established in each and every one of us. And we can do that at deeper and deeper and deeper levels when we choose to lean in. And so now I invite us into prayer. If you like, if you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes and just breathe into that space. Breathe into that divine center that exists at the very center of who you are. That place within each of us that not only is the truth, but remembers the truth. Remembers that there is the divine and nothing else. That spirit is showing up in all of us, that every interaction, every situation, every person, every experience, all of it is God. All of it is the individualized expression of love. Each of us is that center of being, of spirit. Our breath is the breath of God. Our lives are the lives of the divine. Every decision that we make is the decision of spirit. Each and every one of us is God's highest idea of humanity expressing as each and every one of us. Oh, what a beautiful and magnificent thought that is. And so I just breathe into that. I know that truth of each and every person here, each and every person in this community, each and every person that we interact with. I know and affirm that as we move out into the world and as we lean in and as we touch those edges of discomfort and vulnerability, that we are able to open up more to one another, to create those places of safety and security that allow one another to be vulnerable and open. And I know that this is what we are called to do for one another, and this is what we are doing for one another in this beloved community that we call Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. And I am so profoundly grateful for this community, for each and every person who is a part of it. For those who are here right now that we can see their faces on Zoom, and for those that listen and watch later, and for those that are hanging out on the periphery, not quite sure what it is, all of us make up this beloved community, and I am so grateful for all of it. Every person, every individual, every experience, every way of showing up. I am grateful for the divinity of each and every one of us. And so I just release this word. I know that Spirit takes it and does something incredible and profound. It shifts and magnifies, and I surrender into what it is to become and allow that to move through as and in me and in this community as we let it go and we let it be, and we say together, and so it is. And so now I would like to open up our time for Tell Us. Sorry, Cerise, you were probably expecting you. But I'm going to open us up for a little bit of Tell Us. And so for anybody who might be new to our community, this is a time for you to share any thoughts that you have on the talk, on the topic. And my question for today is, where is somewhere that you lean in, or where is somewhere that you are being called to lean in? Where is an edge that you're being called to lean into? Or tell us about a time that you leaned in and what the outcome was. So who would like to share? Michael, oh, nope, that's your cat. I thought you raised your hand. Who would like to share? Me? Anyone? Lynn, you are muted.
I just wanted to say how nice it was to participate in the Zentangle workshop. I really enjoyed it. It was beyond any expectations or whatever I had of it. I really enjoyed what I did there and learned, and just the bonus of being together with everyone. It was just so great to see, some of us in person there in the sanctuary. So anyway. Just wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely, yes. That Zentangle workshop was wonderful, and it was nice also because there was a small group of us here in the sanctuary, and I could almost feel the leaning in of all of us. Right? It was really powerful to be together for that experience. Anyone else? Anything else to share? Okay, well, we will move on to a song. If somebody has something to share, you can raise your hand or drop it in the chat because we do have a little bit more time if you would like. But for the moment, I would love to welcome Cerise back into the room for another song.
Thank you. I just want to say, because of the sharing, that this is a place that I had to learn to lean in, which is songwriting. It was terrifying for me at first because I really didn't believe I could do it. And after I started in New Thought, I found this beautiful connection to the universe, and the words started to flow. So this is a song I wrote in 2019, and it is really about my journey of leaning in. And so I'm really grateful that I chose it because I think it fits beautifully with the talk. There is no place where love is not, no place where I am ever alone. There is no place where light cannot reach to heal, for I am always home. There is no place where joy is not, no place where I am ever alone. There is no happiness being kept from me, for I am always home. For I am here where love begins. I am There is no place my good is not, no place where I am ever alone. There is no wall that holds my blessings back, for I am always home. For I am here where love begins. I am one with all that is, and I release all of the blocks I've built that kept me trapped, that hold me back. There is no place where truth is not, no place where I am ever alone. There is no place I stop and the one begins, for I am always home. For I am always home. Yeah. For I am always home. Thank you.
Ah, thank you so much, Cherise. That was absolutely beautiful, soul quenching. That's how that felt. Thank you. So this is the time in our service for our prayers and our gifts. So first of all, as Suzanne mentioned at the beginning of the service, we love to pray for and with you. Our prayer practitioners are available, and there are a couple of different ways that you can do prayer requests. You can what can you do? You can email us, my goodness. You can email us at prayer@celebration.org, celebrationcenter.org. My goodness, your song, Cerise, has me all mixed up. Prayer requests. You can email us at prayer@celebrationcenter.org. You can also go to our website and click on the button that says request affirmative prayer, and that takes you to a form that you can fill out. Both of those methods are completely confidential. They go to myself and our practitioners, where we pray on them. We have a ministry of prayer, and our practitioners pray on them by themselves throughout the week, and myself as well. So feel free to do that. And I also want to say that if you would like some one-on-one prayer now here and you're in Zoom, feel free to private message me at RevTech, which is the computer that I have pulled up to be able to look at the chat and respond. And I am happy to put you into a breakout room with one of our practitioners if you would like some one-on-one prayer as well. Right now, we can do that. And I would also like to talk about our gifts and offerings and tithes. So as y'all know, we are a tithing community, and all of your gifts go towards us spreading our vision, celebrating the oneness of humanity and knowing the truth of the divine. That was paraphrased, my goodness. But that is what we are doing here at Celebration Center. We are very grateful for all of your tithes, all of your offerings, all of your gifts. And that includes not only your monetary and financial donations, but it also includes your talent and your time and your energy and your blessings and your prayers that you are praying for this community as well, especially at this time of transition as we look to return to in-person services and begin something new and different with our hybrid services. You are able to donate online through our new Breeze platform. I am dropping it in the chat right now. And there are a couple of different funds that we have going on right now. We have our, just regular tithe fund, and then we also have our reopening funds. It takes you, both of those links actually take you to the same place, but you can choose reopening funds if you would like to donate towards the technology that we are currently raising money for. And with all of that, I invite you to just take all of the blessings that you offer the world, the ones that you know about and the ones that you don't, and wrap them all up and bring them to your hearts. And just breathe in the blessing that you are to this community. And now I invite you to stay muted and say with me our offertory affirmation. I open my heart to give and receive the blessings that our spirits promise to me. As I do, the entire universe conspires to give me an abundant life, and I open to accept it. And so it is. Now I believe we have a song from Lynn.
Yeah, blessing to the world. Reverend Chris, we were.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world, a blessing to the world, a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Lynn. And Suzanne, would you like to bless our prayers and our offerings?
Of course. And knowing that these prayer requests are requests from the heart, a request from those who are willing and open to receive the goodness of the universe, the blessings that are there to accept with an open hand, with an open heart, and further knowing that the donations given to us are held within the sacred bonds of the center, and knowing that all is well with this. I say thank you, Father, Mother God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And now we have Michael Zawadzki to do our announcements.
Good morning, beloved community. Sorry, I'm having some video and audio problems, so I'll be as quick as possible here in case I lose you. The big news, obviously, as Reverend Chris has already said, announced that on July 4th, what a great day for a celebration. We'll be going back to the in-person Hyde Hall. So hopefully everything will go well with that. We are looking for volunteer positions to help with that, including sanitizers and video and live streaming tech support people. So if anybody's inclined, I'm sure that Ivor can help train you in what to do. So we're also looking for fundraising for the new technology that is needed. So if you feel the calling to donate, please go via Breeze and look for the reopening fund section. That will be really good and a really big help for the center. Reverend Chris, did you want to follow up on any of that?
I did. Oh, yes. So don't let the fact that the volunteer positions that we need are tags scare you. It's super, super simple. And Ivor will support you in training you, and I will support you in training you. It's the programs that we used back in Napa, so I'm really good at them. And it's literally just like touching buttons. It's really easy. And we also need somebody to be in charge of the camera, moving the camera around to look at the choir or me or whoever else, whatever's going on. So if you're interested in one of those positions, please contact me. I will put my contact information in the chat. And we are so excited to be opening back up on July 4th. And go right ahead, Michael.
Okay, thank you. All right, the regular announcements, if you could share the screen, Ivor, that would be wonderful. He's so good. My good. We are blessed to have Ivor with us. We really are. I don't know what we'd do without his technical knowledge. Recurring events in the main Zoom room, as they say. Again, we've got the morning check-ins Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday now with Reverend Laurie and Ivor. We have the yoga sessions with Jen on Monday and Wednesday. Wonderful. We also have Jen and Reverend Faith and Reverend Chris. Wow, what a trio. With meditations on Tuesday, 5:30 to 6. We've got the choir going on Thursday. See, every day of the week. Wonderful. Saturday chanting, 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. And drumming, it's going to be, the next one is going to be June 20th, which is a Sunday, I believe. It's a Sunday this time in Roundtree Park. So that's a wrap, everybody. All right, we'll see you in a month. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Michael. I so appreciate you doing the announcements. And now I am all over the place because I was putting links into the chat for Facebook. So now, we have a closing song, and we actually have an extra special treat. This is a video of our celebration choir from a song that they've done before. So you will recognize it. And I invite you to sing along at the top of your lungs on mute in your home. Get up, dance, sing, and enjoy this treat from our choir.
One, two, three, four. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those are your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me. Call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me. Oh yeah, just call me if you need a friend. Call me.
Hello?
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm
Thank you so much, Celebration Choir. I love that song and I love that rendition. That was beautiful. And now I would like to leave y'all with a thought from the universe by Mike Dooley. However safe you might think you are right now, you are even safer. However much you might think you are loved and guided right now, you are loved and guided even more. And however likely you feel your future happiness is to blossom, let me assure you, it is in fact inevitable, eternally. I love you all. And with that, we say bye to our Facebook friends.